Welcome back to Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm dear darling. I shall see what's going on our lovely island of Fawnhallow today, where we're relaxing as per usual, and we're recording incredibly late because we had D&D today, and then I had to basically do stuff. Do stuff being change my bed sheets, had a shower and all that, relaxed a little bit, unwound. D&D definitely finished a bit later than usual today, and then I procrastinated actually recording this video. So here we are recording. Probably uploading at like 3 AM or something. But that just do me how it is sometimes, So, good evening everyone. I'm here with a late night broadcast. Hope I can make it through this. Right now in Fawnhallow, I don't know why I clicked through it so quickly. It's 1:46 AM on what should be Friday 8th of August 2025. Yeah, what am I going to talk about today? Anything else to update in the phone saga? Nope. All I can say is that the Google Returns Center has received the previous phone. I've not been given a refund or a confirmation that a new phone is on its way, so don't know what's happening there. I sent a follow-up email being like, hey, hello, it's me, the one you sent the wrong phone to. Any literal update, please. So we're going to see what happens there, and the answer is, I mean, I'll keep giving you updates, and it's going to keep being nothing, I think. Yeah, I'm not going to talk about another crash session today, mainly because I forgot about it. I need to think about it again. And I was honestly going to record before D&D today, but then I was like, wait, I need to actually add some things to D&D. And then it took me way longer to add them than I expected, because I was like, this is actually a bit of a strange thing. I don't know how to properly add this in Foundry. But then I did it, and I was like, you know what? It's basically, not everything has to be so automatic. Some of it can just basically be a glorified paper sheet, right? So yeah, what am I going to talk about today? You know what I could talk about? This happened like I was having a shower, but it was before I was having a shower. I was putting all my stuff in like the laundry basket, and it's obviously very dark, and I turned on the light, and then I saw something just scutter like in my peripheral vision beneath me, and I was like, what was that? I looked down. It was probably the largest spider I think I've ever seen in the UK. Like, I've seen large spiders, I suppose, like in zoos and stuff, but like just naturally. And I actually, for a second, like it wasn't like I like screamed or jumped or anything. I was just like, I was actually just kind of shocked, because I looked at that and went, whoa, this spider is huge. And I was going to look up actually, which I'll do right now, except I opened up shiny colours on my other monitor as well. I was going to look up like, what spider is it? It was so big. Like literally, it was like larger than my palm. And I was like, that's crazy. Anyway, it's got it off somewhere. I don't know where it went, but it's probably chilling. So, I mean, it's a good thing about living in the UK, at least, is that fact. Excuse me. It's the fact that the spiders we have here aren't dangerous. There's no risk of, the spider biting me and me potentially like dying because of venom, right? So it's the sort of thing where it's like, not that I'm gonna like chill out because of it, but more so that it's like, maybe it's not too bad. It doesn't need to be that cause for concern, right? But yeah, I don't know what spider was. The spider was just genuinely huge. Like, I was like, what the heck? Why is this spider so massive? I have this memory of a child of me actually walking into my parents' bedroom when I was younger. I don't remember the exact context behind it or whatever, but that happened. And then I remember, I can't even remember what I was doing, but I was getting something, and then I looked at like the door, and it just had the largest spider I've ever seen on it. Probably a little bit smaller than the spider I saw today, and I was like, what am I going to do? Because I think the thing is that spider genuinely stunned me with how big it is. Because a lot of times with spiders, I like to sort of like pick them up and I put them somewhere. I mean, I used to put them out, and I suppose sometimes I still do that, I'm going to be fully honest. But when I do think back to my friend saying that a lot of house spiders don't like survive outside, and I was just like, well, okay, I didn't realise I was kind of like sentencing them to their death. Not my intention, but it's also like I don't know what to do with them. It's like I need like a spider room or something, just like put all the spiders in there. But anyway, that's not the point. But I actually got like stun knocked by that spider. I was like, this is so big, and like, how am I gonna pick this spider up? Because normally I get a piece of paper and pick them up. I think in my mind I still sort of associate insects with being like dirty or something. In my mind, which, you know, I mean, to a certain extent is true, I guess, by the fact we like walk along dirt and stuff on the ground or whatever. But yeah, but the spider genuinely stunned on me. I was like, what do I do in this situation? I mean, it just ran away, and I was like, oh, well, I guess I was like, out of mind, right? Anyway, I was gonna look it up. UK largest spider breed, because it wasn't a daddy long legs. 6 of the biggest spiders in the UK looked from canals, and it looked like just like a regular brown spider, to be honest. Fenrir spider, I don't think it was that. House spider, like, may reach an impressive 75 millimeters. Hold on, how large is 75 millimeters? Was it that big? It might have been about that big. It was genuinely the largest house spider I've ever seen. Large house spider, UK. Was that it? I think it was. Particularly common during the autumn mating season. I guess we're getting it. They're generally harmless to humans, and their bites are not considered dangerous. They do bite though. Yeah, I think it was this. I was just looking at it and I was like, this is the biggest spider I've ever seen. What do they do? Can house spiders survive outside? No, generally house spiders in the UK cannot survive well outside due to the cold and wet weather. How do they live inside though? Is the thing. That's the thing I don't understand. Like, what sustenance are they getting inside? I guess spiders probably don't need that much to live, to be honest. Giant house spiders. Why do people throw spiders outside instead of killing them? If you cannot bear to coaxest with a spider, kill it. It would cause less suffering. But I'm like, what do I do with a giant house spider? Actually, I think the dream is basically you get like a greenhouse or garage or something. That should be a spider room. You can just like pop them in there. Venom, it's like, I don't know, something in my mind is sort of like the sanctity of like carpeted floor. I'm like, I don't think a spider should be on carpeted floor. It doesn't make any sense in my mind the more I think about it, but it's like, what if I need a room basically dedicated for the spiders, because I don't want to kill them, but I'm like, I also don't like want them chilling in my bedroom. What am I going to do with them? Which is weird. I can't like reconcile this in my head. I was also thinking about this the other day, because it was just like, what do I think are wasps? And I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, I think they're very interesting creatures, but also I don't want a wasp to be near me because I don't want to get stung, because they're like a hair triggers away from being angry and attacking you for no reason. They're kind of like jerks, right? But it's also like, they're very fascinating to watch at the same time. And I'm sort of like trying to reconcile that in my head. I'm like, I wonder if that counts as like a phobia of wasps. And I'm like, I'm probably not. Like, I've known people with actual phobias of actual things. I'm not going to belittle their experience with just saying mine. Because mine is just more like, I don't want to get stung. And I'm like, I think that's a pretty normal human reaction, right? I think people who even like wasps and bees and spiders, and I'm like, are not like, oh yeah, bite me, spider, or something. That's probably like a huge new level of insanity. But very, very fascinating to look at, like in an insectarium or something. Like something where it's like behind a glass panel, you know. They have their world, I have my own, in a way. I wonder how it works in Australia, to be honest. I wonder how I would react to spiders in Australia. Because, you know, I've spoken to people from Australia before, and just like how casually they talk about, you know, just like lifting up a blanket's giant spider or something, or, you know, going into the bathroom, like giant spider on the wall or something. I think I'd probably react a lot worse in Australia, and the main reason is because the spiders are actually deadly there. And as I say, one major benefit of the UK is the fact that the spiders here are harmless. I've never been bitten by a UK spider. Even if they do bite you, it just kind of hurts, as I understand it. It doesn't poison you. It's not venomous. So I feel like it's a very real sort of reaction to see like an Australian, like you see a black widow or something, and be like, heck no, I'm staying away from that. Bat is scary, yeah, because it could kill you. Things which can kill you are generally like kind of scary, but it's not scary if it's like in a glass box or something. When it becomes fascinating, because it can't drill a hole in a glass box and then bite me, right? Something like that. I don't know. And the other thing I find so fascinating about spiders, and insects kind of in general, is why, in most people's humans' brains, are they sort of like hardwired to be like, that's weird, I don't like that, you know? Because I think on one hand, you can be like, well, spiders are very common phobia because spiders are freaky, like in a sense, they move unnaturally fast or something. They don't look like anything that a human could particularly relate with. They basically look like an alien creature. But if you kind of think about it, like most animals kind of look like an alien creature if you compare them to humans. Like anything with a different number of limbs is already like odd, right? Like dogs should be considered as alien to humans as maybe like spiders are, I suppose. Well, maybe to a different extent, because I suppose it's more to do with what can be visibly seen as like cognition, I suppose, in dogs is perhaps a bit more apparent than in spiders. And perhaps maybe there's something to be said about like size difference and frequency or something. I don't know. Dogs being domesticated, I think, is actually like makes it a very terrible example. Maybe I should have used cats or something. But it's not like a cat's bite will like poison you, right? So maybe there's more reason to be scared of a lot of spiders. But it is like weird to think about, isn't it? Because it must be something just through like evolution, just learning to be scared. The things which are common phobias are things which have generally posed more danger, I suppose, to humans, right? Does it make sense for evolution that humans evolved like the intrinsic fear of spiders because there's a lot of common poisonous spiders? I don't know necessarily if that's how it works, but that's the only way I can sort of justify it in my head. Because I'm like, why wouldn't we be as scared of dogs, cats, birds compared to spiders? You know, as an example. Because they feel like just as removed. You know, humans to a bird, like most people I know aren't scared of like a parakeet or something, but like birds can fly. The size difference pretty like big. Birds come in all like a variety of different colours, like very different from humans, like general body tones. What is it about insects and spiders that sort of kick it into overdrive on more people? Like, what is it about these specific animals which mean that they fall into a larger phobia demographic? Why are humans scared of spiders? Why is the phobia of spiders so common? Spiders tend to embody a lot of what why see as unnatural, but why? Compared to endearing features of other animals, why do we see the spiders' features as unnatural when all the other animal stuff is also unnatural compared to humans, right? I feel like I need to reason this out in my head, because I think my instinct is to be like, well, that's because birds don't look unnatural, but why don't they look unnatural? They shouldn't theoretically be unnatural, right? With the distance evolutionarily it feels like from humans to birds. I'm sure the jump from humans to spiders is further apart in like the tree of life, but then like they still feel pretty unnatural as well. But like I've not really heard many people who are scared of birds. Maybe I don't really ask people about their phobias all that often, but that's also a fair point. But it's like, I don't know why having 8 legs would be more or less unnatural than having wings and being able to fly. What is it about the fact that a dog has fur makes it feel more cute and cuddly and endearing compared to like a tarantula who has hairs on their legs? Why? I think the eyes thing is an interesting point as well. You know, spiders having multiple eyes. I'm gonna be real though, most spiders are so small that you can't really see their eyes a lot of the time. Like, I know even that like big, like massive giant house spider that I saw, I don't even know, like I didn't even clock its eyes in the slightest. That's only something which I already know about because I know that spiders have multiple eyes, right? Or like I've seen a tarantula. I don't even know what. Like, I'm picturing a tarantula. I don't even know what the eyes look like on a tarantula, to be honest. Tarantula eyes? I actually said this. I actually think tarantulas are kind of cool. I think we sort of cross the boundary from being spiders into being like dogs or whatever. I think the thing that made them cross that boundary for me was when it was like tarantulas are kind of like trophy pets in a way. They're very, very delicate. I had no idea how fragile tarantulas were, to be honest. But they're like super, super fragile. You're not meant to like carry them and like pet them or anything like that, like a regular pet. You just sort of put them, well, again, I don't own tarantulas, so don't quote me on this. They just sort of like chill around in their cage and stuff, and you feed them. I mean, you can let them like crawl around on you or something, but it's also like kind of dangerous because if you drop them, they basically just break, right? Because they're so big, but they still have insects physiology, and that's fascinating. I think this reflects a lot of what I think about the sort of animal world. Is absolutely fascinating. Would I interface with them on like a frequent level? No, well, yes and no. It kind of depends on the level. Like I wouldn't want to look after a lot of animals because, I mean, that's a lot of work, to be honest. And I feel like my appreciation for animals come from a much more pragmatic standpoint than necessarily a relationship bond one. Anyway, we're getting off topic here. The topic being like, why? Why is 8 legs more unnatural than anything else? Or like specifically spiders? Is it really just the number of legs? Because I feel like I mean, part of it's probably also spiders are very common. Like, I don't know any countries which don't have spiders. Let's see. Are there any countries without spiders? My only guess would be something like Greenland, might not, but there are no countries entirely without spiders. Yeah, it makes perfect sense. So I guess spiders are very sort of ubiquitous, right? It's very easy for spiders to appear everywhere. Especially unnaturally inside a home, and they're quite notable. So maybe it's something which developed that, but that would suggest that it's something which would only have existed within like more modern society, right? Because otherwise I don't see why a spider should necessarily be as more common a fear compared to like a fly. Like flies are so common, or like bees or something. I mean, I guess because, I don't know, maybe just the PR people for spiders, you know, compared to bees. Well, I guess bees, maybe bees not good at it, like good comparison, because bees are kind of great, like wasps or something. People see wasps as jerks, but do people have like an intense phobia of wasps as much as they do spiders? Maybe, but I don't hear it as commonly. I feel like I'm trying to reach for a logical reason when there isn't one. But I'm just like, why would it be as unnatural? When really, maybe I'm thinking too abstractly. It feels like every animal is super unnatural, you know? I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this episode up here. This is late night musings with Dear Darling, I guess. So, if you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been Dear Darling. Likes, comments, subscription, shares, greatly appreciated. Socials, Discord down below. Hope to see you again, but for now, it's our farewells. Until next time, bye bye for now.